Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting of the Lebanon Board of Park Commissioners to order. Let the records show that all members are present except Diane Scott. And if everyone's had a chance to look at the minutes from the May 3rd meeting, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carried. We were thinking we were going to have an update on Stone Eater Bike Park tonight, but Kevin couldn't be here, so he'll either send a report out or he'll be on the agenda for the next meeting. Okay, the next item on the agenda is Damon Crease for approval of a barn design.
So, Damon Crease again with LISA. Hopefully you guys have or still had the former design that I'd sent you a couple meetings ago. I went and talked with Ben Bontrager with the city. I thought that we had everything set up to just go to before the city, but he said, well, I had to have formal approval from you guys to do that. So I'm just here seeking the formal approval of this barn, and then we'll go through all the city processes to make sure that we're doing that correctly, with making sure the barn is where they want it, where it sits and out of the way off the easement zones, and properly tethered to the ground and all that stuff. So,
Does anybody have any questions?
I have a few. I have a few.
Okay.
Just so we can get information about it out. Move me down. I'm just wondering, how many months does LISA actively use the park?
Actively for regular season, 2 to 3 in spring, 2 to 3 in fall, and then we do a summer camp, so between 5 and 7 months, I would say.
How many players do we have registered for LISA?
In the spring last year, we had 350. In the spring this year, we hit 362. If I would have let registration go another week, we probably would have been close to 400. For summer camp last year, we had 75 registered and about 60 to 70 showed. This year, we've already got over 50 registered for our camp that will start next month. And then last fall, for our first ever fall academy, we had 140 players.
General, how many per year, per month, per week of numbers of visitors that are coming out there for the LISA to support that club?
Like everybody, I would say in the spring during the week, yeah, I mean, times all the parents and then, I mean, Saturdays alone in the spring, we probably see a couple thousand people. I mean, from all the youth and then all the older age groups, we have people come from out of town for the older age group things. In the summer camp, yeah, a couple hundred, 500, 600, depending on how many kids sign up. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it's actually, 500 or 600 for the summer camp. We get a lot of parents to come out and help us with those as well. So, I mean, more parents, things like that come out and help. Lots of kids, lots of other people out watching. And then in the fall, having been our first year in the fall, probably about 1,000 a week, just with the lower numbers, because we condense it to the smaller age groups in the fall.
And with the shed, with the increased size, with placement, what are you expecting to put in that shed? What are you going to use it for?
So currently we are more or less maxed out. We can't even fit a lot of our stuff in the shed at the end of the season. We've got 24-foot goals, and our barn is only 20 foot long, so they have to sit outside in the wintertime. So being able to store all of our equipment in there, it also allows us, I think I talked to John at the end of the last meeting, we do a program where people have donated us cleats and shin guards. So we get those in for free, and then when people come to us and say, hey, my kid really wants to play, but we don't have enough money to register, we typically will help them out with getting registered, and then also give them the gear that they need to play. I think this spring even, we had for the first time, we had kids from out of town coming to play against our teams, and the kids would show up without their boots or without their shin guards, and we were able to give them ours and then have them use that for their game, and then they return those at the end of the game. So being able to just have more of those things in there is just really, really helpful. We've also talked with, and I'll not say his name just in case he decides not to, but we've talked with an electrical contractor who has said that he would be happy to get power to this as well. With the new project that was out there, there's now power running close by. He said that he would help us out with all of that. That would allow us to have lots of things, including an air compressor to fill up all the balls every year. You know, in the winter they freeze and compress. Allow us to have potentially ice machines, things like that for player safety. We're working on, I think, getting water out there as well. That also helps a lot with player safety, but having some way to cool kids down in the summer, or if it's a really hot day, you know, we don't want to risk a heat stroke or anything like that. Having those options would be incredibly helpful. I also know it's a city park, so I don't know if this would be something that anybody sees as a positive or not, but we could also then potentially, with power, get Wi-Fi and therefore have cameras. Be able to monitor, make sure everything is out there and safe, you know, make sure nobody takes our stuff or damages any park equipment. Just options out there for that. And then again, just the ability to grow. We're a rapidly growing program, and being able to have more things, be able to store more gear would just be really helpful, more balls, all that kind of stuff.
Is this something that's intended if a replacement is put in there by the city, or if the club is to move, that it would be picked up and moved?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you're not against doing anything to match color scheme, to match anything the city prefers?
No, my only hesitation there would be anything that's like fully black, just because of the heat. Having heat on all the equipment in there, whether it's the metal goals or the balls, I mean, that damages the equipment. But I mean, if we can find some, as long as it's not all black, I'd be happy with black accents, things like that to help that. If we need it to be black and gold, that's to match the city color schemes, that's fine. I'm happy with that.
Depending on how much space is available, would you be willing to give up some of that space to, say, the equipment used to maintain those fields that the Parks Department uses?
Yeah, if there's extra space in the barn, yeah, if they need to store a mower or something like that out there, or weed eater, whatever, that, no problem.
Assuming Lice is going to do all the costs and upkeep if the shed were put in place of maintaining it and keeping it safe and making it look good?
That'd be my intent anyways, yes.
Well, he brought one at the last meeting.
Yeah, you guys should have a design in your email. It was a blue and tan, but I mean, it's a metal barn. I think it's Amish built, so it's wood interior, and then it's got metal exterior. You know, prevents.
Think well-designed pole barn.
Yeah.
Excuse me, at the last meeting, I think it was made clear that the park staff makes those decisions. I understand he spoke with Ben. Ben wanted your approval. My 2 cents is I would want a permanent building with restrooms. It is a park. I would want a brick and mortar or something permanent rather than something that is going to remove. And we need to check with the neighbors to make sure that it fits in with them. I think there was something out as a variance that I believe we have some people that would like to speak on that. But my 2 cents is brick and mortar, something solid there with restrooms. I thought it was left up to staff. I haven't met with Damon to tell him these things, so that's just my 2 cents.
Okay.
My
so-
recommendation would be not to do a removable building.
So you have not met with them? 'Cause
No,
that's
just
what
hear a little conversation as we were leaving, but as far as that, he spoke with Ben and talked about variances and things. That's how I found out that this was moving forward. There were no discussions. I think it was left at the last park board meeting that the staff would decide this, and I totally don't want a removable building. Kevin Krulik on the bike park wanted to put a removable building out there. No, it needs to be something solid. We have that at the youth football. They built the building at the baseball field. Again, came up with the funds, they built something. it was approved into what we needed to have at our facilities. They're going to possibly outgrow their facility, up and move, and when they do so, we're stuck with whatever's left over, and I would like something permanent there. We're struggling right now to pay for the paving out there, and that's just another thing that's upkept. I allowed Scott Milam to put a building out there. It has not been kept up, so if that's the type of thing, youth football maintains theirs. When the school's using the facility there, they maintain theirs. They take care of their own trash at youth football. If you understand what I'm getting at, we do all the work and things like that, and there's, nothing coming back. So we probably need to start looking into, for youth football and youth soccer, some kind of contracts, and I have spoke with the attorney on that. We're looking into contracts for these groups, so there is something in writing that our expectations, their expectations. That way there's no confusion on, who's in charge, what's going on. That's just what I'm working on outside. If that helps any decision. So I would say it was left to me, we haven't spoke. We talked a little bit
Have
about
not.
colors.
You
We
have
have
not.
not spoke about
Okay.
anything, so that's where I am. I'll be happy to take questions too.
Okay. Well, what we'll do, if there's people here that want to speak, I'll let them come up and speak, and we'll address their questions after they speak. So if anybody wants to come up and speak, feel free. The only thing I'm going to ask is try to limit your comments to about 3 minutes and to not repeat.
And to please use the microphone so I can hear.
Understand. My name is Craig Kincaid. I'm the Vice President of the Park Place Homeowners Association. And we've not had our meeting this month, this next Wednesday. However, just wanted to represent the Homeowners Association, and some comments in our last meeting that was brought up is the traffic of parking at when their soccer league is going on. Now, I love soccer. I actually coached Damon, played on and coached for Lysa. But the homeowners are close by the park, when there's no parking in the spaces allotted, they end up having to park along the curbs. Try not to block driveways, but a few have pulled up into yards, and when the soil's wet, they leave ruts in their yards. Some more spaces, and also, I know kids are late coming to a game, and the cars will stop right in the street, and kids are jumping out. So there needs to be a drop-off zone. But safety is the big concern that we saw and wanted to mention. And then overall, we would prefer a permanent structure with restrooms, because it's close to all the homeowners there will walk over and use the park as well. That's all I want to bring up.
Thank you. Anybody else want to come up? Okay.
My name is Mary Brown. I have 3 sons that play at Lysa. I am a parent, obviously, in Lebanon, and I'm a teacher in Lebanon Community School System. My kids have had a great experience with Lysa. It has grown tremendously from when my oldest son first started playing to when my now 8-year-old son is engaged in playing. I don't know the technicalities on who manages what at Southside Park, and I don't know all that because I'm not from Lebanon. I will say soccer is much more affordable than football was. I do remember at Southside, they had the luxury of having running water, and they had a very nice concession stand. That's something that they're kind of getting just up and started at Reese Park for Lysa. Obviously, when you can sell food to kids, that's going to help them bring in money and profit. As far as their soccer camp, it's free. Youth sports are not cheap. So I think it brings a lot of access to kids that might not otherwise have some access to sports. I just fully, whether what you decide to do, whether permanent or removable, I just think they are a great program that we as a community need to support. My sons have gone and biked from our house to play there after school or play on the weekends with kids that they have met on their teams. I know at one point in time, there used to be a bike rack there. There is no longer a bike rack there. I know if we get on chatter, there's all kinds of mixed feelings about how kids are acting in the parks, but I think if we're giving them something that they can do and supporting them in a positive way, I just think it's good for the community. So I'd love to see this community support this program to grow. So, thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Sean Walker, and I don't have a lot to add, but I do also have 3 children that have been in this program, and I would like to see support in improving the facilities so that it can be more friendly to the people that are playing there. I have seen when other teams come in from from around when they're playing the teams there, the fact that there aren't bathrooms there is noticed, because where are they supposed to go to the bathroom? They got to try to run to a store somewhere in a town they don't even know and figure out, how to deal with that sort of stuff. So, like I said, I don't really have anything to add. I just wanted to add my voice in support of improved facilities for Lebanon youth soccer.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Can I address a few things said? So, we do have bathrooms. They're portalets through Anytime Outhouse that we maintain. Well, we don't maintain, but they maintain. But we pay for. So we make sure there's always 3 toilets out there during season. Right now there's 1 out there during off season. We'll have probably 2 back during our camp, and then we'll again have 3 for our fall season. That's something that we pay to maintain. Again, that youth football doesn't have to. They have bathrooms out there. They're in a park that already has those things.
I'm sorry.
Okay. But, we're a nonprofit. We don't charge a lot. We do a lot of free things. We do a lot of at-cost things. We do a lot of donations through sponsorships with local businesses. We are not flush with cash. We have looked into building a permanent structure out there, and there's not a chance we would ever have the money to do that. We would need an act of God to afford what those cost. And again, this is a city park, and it's not anything negative, but I don't feel like that's on us to build. Our solution is a temporary one. It's one that gives us what we need to continue to grow until we either do find a new location or stay at this location and have the facilities we need to continue. It is something that would not be permanent. So I understand that what would be preferred is permanent, but until the city or whoever is going to come up with the funds for that, I feel like a temporary thing that looks much better than what is out there and has more use for us, I feel like should be something we should do. We absolutely can go through and rebuild that wooden shed and add more pieces to it and repaint it and do that every couple of years. Our idea with the metal barn was that it would not need that kind of thing. It would hopefully just maintain at least until we were able to find a new location. So yeah, we've got a lot of praise for our program, including from this guy here. He tells us what a good job we do with making sure there's no trash. We're trying to make positive movements without stepping on toes, and apparently I am still stepping on toes, and I apologize for that. But we're trying to do what we can to make this a better program and help these kids. So.
Have anything to add?
As far as that, I don't know if you need my staff approval or if it is a park board. Ben had requested, I believe, to Lebanon Youth Soccer that the board make a recommendation to him before he can go on with the variance. You've heard other people. I can address the other issues with the facilities. Lebanon Youth Football paid for all that. They actually did an addition which came before the park board prior to all of you being here, and made the improvements with the approval of the park board. They do take care of all their utilities, of their trash. They have their own trash. We don't have any trash barrels out there. They actually provide their trash service for them. Stone Eater Bike Park does not have restrooms either. It is a park still when it's all said and done, is what I'm saying. If they'd move on, they need more room, no doubt about it. As Craig Kincaid spoke, it is a safety issue. I'm trying to get the speed limit changed to 20 because it's in a park area. Still working on that. Hopefully Monday that'll be resolved at the council meeting. Things like that. As far as the area, we're in 3/4 of it's in a floodplain, so we can't add on, and when we do, we take away from their fields, and they already are pushed for room with the amount of kids that are going there. They run a fine program, no doubt about it. I just don't know that I want a temporary building out there as far as aesthetics and what we have requested in the past. As far as the new design that we're having for the restroom at the bike park is also going to be split-face block. We are going to have portalettes, but it's kind of like downtown restrooms where it's going to be hidden. So we do have standards that we'd like to keep up, and that's where I'm at. I think it'd be an eyesore, metal dents, metal, things like that. That's all I'm saying. I think if we have a facility and they're in charge of it, whether we come up with the money, we're struggling to find the money to pave that out there and make some type of safe, a drop-off like Craig said. I agree. I see the cars parked all along everywhere. They're parking at the laundromat, the Eagles. I get the phone calls, trust me. But it's such a good program and growing. They're going to be out of space soon, I believe. So we need to take that into consideration. But what I would request is no temporary buildings, and that's where I'm at. But if it's your decision, you can go ahead and make a motion and do what have you. That's
Is there a
just
way that
my-
we can partner with LISA and they use the funds that they were coming up with for their temporary building and we add what we need in order to make it
You're probably,
permanent?
with the facility we're looking at, I'm just $500,000. And that just, we're struggling to find $40,000 to pave that little place that, 4 years I think it's gone on that we haven't paved that. And it's real frustrating, not to pave that. Getting water, there's a lot of issues, the electric that he's talking about. All these things are in motion, but, it is what it is. It's a slow motion, which we could use it yesterday, the last 4 years. So things don't move at a rapid pace sometimes, unfortunately, just like the funding for this asphalt. We've spoke at, several of you have spoke when we went before the council, told them our needs. That's top of our list. So the last conversations I had with the council is they were working on it, and that just hasn't come through yet. There again, does that help answer that question?
It does. I know
I
it's
think I
expensive.
addressed
I just was
Kevin's
trying to
there.
find a way we could
I
have middle
agree.
ground.
Yeah, and when it's gone, I'd still like a restroom or something there, like
Right.
Craig said, for the neighborhood. It is a park, and they pretty well exclusively use it just for soccer, not for any other park needs. We do that at the hot pond, I guess. You can only fish there. The youth football, that's all pretty much for youth football. So we do have other places, softball. We rent all the other facilities other than the youth football and youth soccer. That's why I'm saying contracts that we're going to have to get, just to mow the soccer fields. If we would sub that out, just to mow, not the rest of the things we do, the aerating, seeding. That's $70, $80 an acre, which would be $800 a mow, which, take that times 30. That's just for the mowing, which we do it in-house, and which is great. I think Craig will attest, because I believe he's lived in that addition a long time. The grass was getting that deep, and the city went in and purchased that property. And I think since then, we've made a lot of improvements. And like Craig said, he was LISA. My kids played. I never coached because I'm not a soccer coach, but it's a great program. They flipped down to Southside and then they came back here. There's been several people that have been charged. These guys are doing a great job with our kids. Can't ask for more out of them. I understand their needs and concerns. I don't disagree at all that they'd like storage. We had the Boys and Girls Club that would take their goals and take them to a storage facility somewhere. We've allowed them to keep it on our property. There again, I don't know liability. I haven't talked to insurance agents who's liable, if we would be, if they would be. Those are other things that I really haven't looked into. Just kind of allowed it, and does that help you inform everybody where I am? Any questions?
Just to sum it up, eyesore is your biggest concern, it sounds like.
And a temporary building, we don't allow it. We had 2 containers on our property when I came in and couldn't get them out quick enough from the people in that neighborhoods. They said, why do we have that? We shouldn't. They are eyesores, yes. Permanent structure, they're going to be there forever, and we can maintain them that way. Or whoever runs the facility can maintain them like they are at the Youth Football League.
So you talked about maintaining the current shed. I believe the idea of the new shed was that maintenance, to get rid of the eyesore of the old shed, put in something newer, more modern in there. What do you consider permanent? Because I know code-wise.
Brick and mortar.
So you're looking for brick
Yeah, I
and
like
mortar.
split face. I think our restrooms need to be split face. That's the design we do. However, as long as it's got a foundation, a concrete or a block foundation, something that's in the ground that isn't going to move, that means it is the park's responsibility for that facility from there on out. However, if someone like youth football takes over the facility, they're in charge of roofing it, they're in charge of painting it, electric, plumbing. We oversee that, mind you. I mean, we make sure the electric is up to code, we make sure the water is done, we drain it, winterize it, and put it back up in the spring. We check the facility periodically to make sure that that facility is to our standards. That's what we've done in the past, and that's what I would ask out of anybody that's going on. Again, it's park property, not youth soccer. Great program, but it's still park property. Or a city property.
With the $500,000 bill, we're asking for a temporary appeasement of a shed on a lawn, so eyesore, not a permanent structure. We pay for the bathrooms and we maintain the shed as well. Obviously, in a scenario like that, I feel like being afforded the same opportunities as other clubs where we do the side of maintaining, which I believe even, and again, talking we now, if you're talking about mowing, you're talking about maintaining the facilities more, you're talking about using your own trash cans that are more than likely willing to do by the club and actually doing the same thing that football does in the contract. If you put the contract in the future that you're talking about, are you going to take over all of that from football, or is football still going to be required to do that, which means soccer could also do the
That's
same
something
thing?
I'm working with the attorney now, and those are things that we're going over. And that's been probably a 3 or 4 month process. A lot of it due to the bike park coming in, that we're looking at those things and trying to address signage. I mean, there's a whole lot of different things that we're looking on because we'll have a lot of groups coming in wanting to rent these facilities or use them. And we just want to be sure that it's up to our park standards and good for the community and for all. And that's what we're basically looking at.
So your standard is just permanent
Which I'll pull
foundation
in,
and eyesore?
yeah, I'll pull in LISA for their input, and I'll pull in Lebanon Youth Football, and obviously the park board. It's a collaborative contract, hopefully, that's good for all. Unfortunately, we've come to that now.
All right, so this is just pressure based on the fact that something additional was wanted out of a couple of the parks that are different?
I can't hear anything.
This is just pressure put on basically because you want your own way instead of some of the things that the community wants, so it's bike park and
Not
LISA?
that at
I'm
all.
simply asking the
No.
question,
No.
just to make sure that it's cleared up.
Yeah, no, that's just something that other parks do and that I've talked to quite a few, and I think that that's where we're headed in that direction as we grow, as the city grows. And we need to have these things. I've talked to a lot of communities and now I'm in place. And a lot of youth soccer programs, actually, Zionsville, I think they have their own facility. The youth soccer owns that property, that they play on. It isn't a park-run program. It is a youth soccer that they purchase their own land and play on.
Carmel Dad's Club, Cumberland, USAI, West Side, none of them own their own facilities. They're all rentals from it. Noblesville, they're all rentals from the government for parks facilities.
There you go.
So this scenario would be something similar to those, not the minority, which is the Zionsville, that actually owns their own lane because they have the money to do so. So I just want to make sure we were clear on where we stood on the fact that it's an eyesore. You'd like a permanent structure based on the 3 bathrooms I believe we have that actually meet those standards where no other buildings do.
All our facilities.
So you would like to change over all of our facilities to match
No,
the
I
stone
say
face?
all our facilities are well-maintained and kept up, and I want to keep them that way, and I have a certain brick and mortar. I don't think it's a big request. I understand what you're asking, but I think if we're going to do anything on that facility, it needs to be a permanent structure that is maintained for the park itself. So when you guys pack up, or the youth soccer packs up and goes to a bigger facility, which is going to be needed in the near future, then we have something permanent for the residents in Park Place and surrounding neighborhoods that the community can enjoy.
Will we have that in the next few years?
There again, I have no idea with our funding. It is a request that we have down there on our wants, needs list. So 5-year master plan, it's on there, I'm sure, farther down on the list. There we go. Any other questions, input? There we go.
I'm just going to make a comment that I have nothing against the program at all. I think it's fantastic. Anything we can do to bring the kids and have them involved in an activity is wonderful. I'm a little disappointed because at the meeting, we asked that Lisa meet with the park and park staff, and they did not do that. I'm a little disappointed in that, but
Can I address that?
We did.
no, you did not.
So when we describe whether we meet with them or not, what do you describe as formal or informal that is written?
Sitting in a meeting.
I was told to contact them.
You have to come up to the microphone.
After the last meeting, John and, I'm sorry, I forget your name, the gentleman back here, we all sat with Brett, we all talked, and they were the ones who advised that I talk with Ben about what I would need to do. So we talked with Ben. Ben told us that we had to get formal approval from the Parks Board first. That was the conversation. So I thought that we had moved everything into place. He told us that we had to get formal approval first. So that was where that stood. We discussed it after the meeting. We talked about it, and much with the eyesore discussion, things like that. We tried to explain that this would be a temporary thing, that when there became the chance for the city to put in a permanent structure, we'd be happy to take it away. There would be nothing left over. It would be ground down. It'd be the same concrete that's already there. And so I didn't realize that I was skipping a step. At the last meeting, I directly asked you guys to approve this, and you told me that it was their decision. Ben is the one who said that it had to be your decision. So that, again, I'm just trying to follow the rules as they're being explained to me.
And if I recall the conversation, which it's been a month, as far as that, I said I wanted a permanent structure at that point in time, too. You can talk to Ben. I probably did say that. I probably did. But I said I wanted a permanent structure.
Right.
So that's what I said. For variances and all purposes, you're still going to need a variance and things like that, I believe. But I want a permanent structure, and that's my stance.
Okay, does the board have any other questions? Well, I guess it's up to us to make a motion whether we would allow a temporary structure on the park property, but we did ask park staff for their input. So I'm going to make a motion that I would like to see us continue to work and improve the area, but I'm going to make a motion that we do not allow a temporary structure on the ground.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
No.
Motion carried with 1 no. So we intend to continue to work with you. Money is always going to be an issue. This is the government. We're working very hard. I just worked this week on trying to get the funding approved, pushing them a little bit for the paving, and that we're going to do. The safety concerns of the bike rack, the water, we'll address all those. The speed limit, you're addressing those. We want to continue to work with you, but we just don't feel like a temporary structure is the answer. So we'll continue to work, and budget time is coming up, and we'll go through the master plan and put a list together. Okay, anything to come up for new business, John? Okay, the next item on the agenda is the director's report.
Okay, good evening. Memorial Park, the baseball field, high school season has ended. 2 baseball camps are being held right now at the Memorial Baseball Field. Hoosier Town Ball and Indiana Baseball League are playing. They've started their leagues. It'll last through October. There again, we had to cut down several trees in the back there. We have another one we have to remove. Seashore Water Park, smooth, soft opening and opening day. Had a huge attendance the first 2 weeks. The 17 new hires that we have doing a great job. I can't say how outstanding they are. Everybody knows their duties now and really broken in after a couple of hot weeks. It's slowed down a little bit with the cooler weather, but can't thank them enough, and the training's been outstanding. Our manager's doing a great job. And along with that, Logan Banks, maintaining the pool, has just done an outstanding job, along with Aaron McMasters. The grounds, there again, we removed a couple trees and stumps, grinded those. Had one break last Saturday in that little rain that we had. Unbelievable. It was leaning against another. We waited till Monday to take care of it. It's down and gone. We applied 100 yards of ADA compliant mulch around the playground at Memorial Park. Brown dyed mulch was installed in several more beds. We have just a couple more to clean up, and we'll have those done in the next week and a half. I think they're starting tomorrow. Annual flowers, we've installed all those around the park. They've already been planted downtown, starting to get watered quite a bit. That's a daily thing in this 90-degree heat. Got to thank the guys for that too. Power washed all the shelters. They just look outstanding, along with the bandstand. We took care of it. All the perennials are cut back, taken care of prior to the planting of the annuals. We installed flags all around the park. Nice touch right before Memorial Day. Got a lot of compliments. We also installed the veteran banners all around the park. Again, those were a bleed off from Main Street, and we had 17 poles that we could put them up, and the DAR does that program, and we were happy to help with that. Stained the gazebo, or painted it today. It looks outstanding. Canopies raised on all the trees, so that was nice. You can see through the park, very nice. Playground, we do our monthly inspection and remove graffiti on almost a every other day basis. Restrooms, electric closer, it was busted. We repaired it as quick as we could. Had to wait on a part a couple days, but it was repaired as soon as part came in. Toilet that was broken, that was down maybe a day, if that, and repaired it. Power washed all the entries. They look great, ready for the 4th and all the traffic that we're having right now. At Abner Longley, we have removed several trees and ground the stumps there also. Cut a bunch of the underbrush. It started to grow up, and we've treated it also. Try and get rid of the invasive species in those areas. I want to thank the ARC. They come twice a week now. They were coming once a week last year. They come twice a week, and they're doing an outstanding job stacking up the sticks. They have several jobs. They love to split wood. They paint our trash cans, but they also do a lot of the heavy lifting with the sticks and things, and I just can't thank them enough for coming out. Sterilant, we've sprayed in quite a few areas. The pond treatment, we had quite a bit of algae at the Abner Longley at the conservation pond. Been fighting it for the climatic conditions, but it's finally getting under control. We could use rain, I think, to knock it down, but it's been treated. We have a company come out every 2 weeks throughout the summer. They take care of the hot pond, they take care of Abner Longley at the conservation pond, and then they also treat a detention pond that we take care of and maintain at Vincennes University. The pond has been stocked. There again, that was stocked last week at the conservation pond. The shelter and restroom entrance power washed there at Abner Longley. We'll be working on that soccer shelter over there. It needs some repair. We'll be putting coat of paint, fixing some boards, and also probably putting a metal roof and staying with our standards. Reese Park, the lift station, is a work in progress. There again, I have a 8 o'clock Zoom meeting, I think, tomorrow that I'll be able to update, but there's not a whole lot of progress. They're still on track. That meeting I had 2 weeks ago, so they will still be out there probably until the end of October. Very active. Please be mindful of all the kids. We just heard from several people. That's a busy, busy place out there, and we're really working for the speed limit sign. I think the idea of a drop-off zone would be outstanding. We just need a heck of a lot more parking. I mean, that's something that we'll always be stuck with. The hot pond identified 4 trees to be removed down there. We have some fountain issues going on right now, but Billy's working on it, and the superintendent, and the electric's being checked on it. Installed a new grill, got rid of the old one. It was pretty bad shape, so we removed it. Stocked the pond there also. We had a fishing derby, so we had to stock with big catfish, but we also stocked it with our normal stocking. And then again, that had a pond treatment also. Every 2 weeks is when they treat, like I said. Ruth Brookshire Arboretum, all the dirt work has been done. It's been seeded. Actually see some grass going up out there. Looks really nice. And there again, we have removed those 3 trees that had dropped. We have several identified to be removed. I'll probably reach out to the Ruth Brookshire Trust Fund to see if they could help replace some of those trees. The Big 4 Trail, work is pretty well complete. The asphalt was completed last week, 2 weeks ago, I believe. Now they were doing the approaches of the country roads out there. That I have a walkthrough with them for a final inspection on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, and I'll let you know there. There was a little split that we noticed in the asphalt, and we'll address that when we have a walkthrough for the final inspection on it. Downtown, we've trimmed the trees, had to raise the canopy. Some of them were close to touching the cars. That's an ongoing thing that we did. We just, we got that taken care of. There have been several big events down there. We're kind of the people behind the scenes to make sure it all looks good and goes smoothly and does some setup, but the Heart of Lebanon does a great job down there too, along with Joe LePage and his crew. Volunteers are hard to come by, so it does fall on the city quite a bit. The street department installed sand on all the pavers downtown, so they took that off our plate. We appreciate all their help there. That's going to be an ongoing maintenance issue for the next, as long as we have the pavers. So, they did a nice job there. Raised the canopies along East Street too on the Big 4 Trail that goes down there, along with trimming up some trees. Again, we installed all the flags along Northeast Street too prior to Memorial Day. They'll stay up through July 4th for the parade and Independence Day. routine pickup of trash, weed pulling, water flowers, mowing, all those things that we do on our regular that is behind the scenes. Gene Haas building, we trimmed some more plant material there, did some irrigation work, and again, the pond treatment, we take care of that detention pond, so it is treated also every 2 weeks so it doesn't get nasty. Street department's moving pretty close to getting done with their, that's right there at Gene Haas, so that's taking a little mowing off our plate. Programs and events, the Megan Hammerly 5K was held early in May, and they had a huge turnout. The race started at Lebanon High School and came through Memorial Park. Always happy to see this race come through the park every year. And a great cause too. I believe the money went to the mentoring program this year. On May 7th, we hosted our 3rd annual Princess Party in the park. This year we had Sleeping Beauty and Rapunzel visit, as well as crafts and cookies. Had a great crowd and the weather turned out perfect. Hopefully grandkids, kids, everybody got to get out there, but it was nice to see those 2 actresses. Our June swim lessons will begin next week, and we are completely full in all age groups. Looking forward to meeting all the 60 kids who will be participating. The splash pad opened May 20th, and we also held our staff orientation for the water park that same day. Had a summer staff of over 60, and the summer started off great. Seashore Water Park opened 27th, and busy almost every day, and it has. It was a little slow today, the cooler weather. We had temperatures up to 80 in the pool, and they're down to around 72 to 74. These cooler temps at night just don't help that pool temperature at all. Along with the opening day of the water park, Band Chamberlain hosted a Memorial Day party in Memorial Park, and the band performed on the Joe Hawbush Memorial Bandstand, and there were several food trucks as well as a car show for people to enjoy, and we hope to have them back next year. He did an outstanding job. Him and his wife are very talented, and the band they had was just outstanding. Again, heard a lot of people say I had no idea, and we're trying to get the word out better. I don't know how to correct that issue. We're putting on the board out in front. We're actually trying to hold them for like 30 seconds at a time or a little bit longer. A lot of people say they can't read everything, so if we leave it up for a while, hopefully that'll help. We'll see how that works out. Playing with it a little bit right now, Allison is. The Buick Club hosted their car show again in Memorial Park on June 3rd. Had an amazing turnout. We enjoy seeing this car show come to the park every year and hope to see them again next year. Just a great group of people from Kokomo. You'd think they'd keep it in Kokomo, but they love our park and did a nice job. They're always very tidy and pick up after themselves, but they have a great turnout. The Kiwanis Fishing Derby was also held on June 3rd at a Hot Pond Park. Also had a great turnout with beautiful weather. A little hot for fish catching, but there were some big ones caught, so a lot of smiles around there. Conan Ice was there. I think Clues Brews served tacos. And then, what is it, the coffee?
Refuge.
Yeah, the Refuge was there too. That was nice of them to all come out and help out with that event. Inwell will be hosting their Summer of Recovery event tomorrow evening. In Memorial Park. There will be live music, keynote speakers, and recovery and wellness resources. The event will run from 5:30 to 8. They also have a couple bands. I heard American Idol past winner, and then a season 6 from The Voice winner is going to sing also. So some good music that'll be out there. But I saw them last year when they came. And there's just some amazing stories there that I think everybody can appreciate the recovery and what all they've done. But all the groups, help groups are there. Looking forward to that tomorrow night. We are wrapping up our spring pickleball league. As of last night will be this coming Tuesday. We had 12 teams this round and played for 11 weeks. It has been a lot of fun. Look forward to starting back up in the fall. Had some great weather for all this too. Our mother-son pool party will be held at Seashore Water Park next Friday, June 16th. The cost is $20 per couple, which covers admission and dinner. There will be plenty of games, a s'more station, and of course, lots of swimming. The event will run from 5:30 to 8. We hope to see all of you there. On Friday, June 30th, we will be hosting our Serving Up Sparks Pickleball Tournament. This is a night tournament with pool play starting at 7 p.m. Our 18 to 54 age division is now full, but we do have remaining spots in our 55 division, 55-plus division. The cost is $40 per team, includes a T-shirt, snacks, and water. We're looking forward to using our courts under the lights. Also firing up for all our July 4th events. Those are right around the corner. It's Huseman Amusements this year. Poor Jack's hasn't been there for a couple of years since COVID. I've spoke with them. Everything is good to go. I don't have the actual hours of opening and closing. As soon as we do, we'll post them. But everything's looking good. They're a great group, a mom and pop shop that used to work for Poor Jack's a long time ago. They're very familiar with our parks and just a good group. And there again, everybody's rented the shelters for the 4th of July. A lot of activities and hopefully good weather like we've had. And that's all I had.
Okay, thank you, John. One thing I want to make sure, for the July meeting, did we change the date on that one?
I believe we
To the
did.
12th,
I believe we did.
It was changed on our,
to the 12th?
Yes, I believe we
Okay.
did. That's the only one and only change that we had from our January meeting. There
Right.
again,
I meant
my
to look at
recall
that
is
before
zero.
I left
Yeah.
home and I forgot. Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I didn't figure the 5th would be a good day. Okay,
Okay,
thank you very much.
thank you.
Okay, now if everyone's had a chance to review the claims, I'd entertain a motion to approve the claims. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. If there's nothing else to come before the board tonight, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
do we do the claims?
That's what we just did.
I'm all right.
Okay.
I motion we adjourn.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you for joining us this evening.